guys, I'm Tyne and welcome to Tiny DIYs, where I talk about crafts and do-it-yourself hacks. So for this episode, I wanted to share with you how I preserve flowers. I'm not the kind of girl who goes crazy over flowers, but it is quite nice to receive a bouquet on special occasions. Usually, I expand the lifespan of flowers by cutting them and dipping them in water and sugar that serves as flower food and preservative as well. But that just buys you a couple more days, and it is such a waste to see flowers die. So I have been experimenting with resin, and for this video, I wanted to share with you a fail-proof way to preserve small flowers as accessories. Check this out. I discovered resin art more than a year ago, and I soon realized how great it was at preserving dried flowers like the ones encased in this bracelet. For this video, I'm going to show you how I dry flowers and then preserve them in resin. Now, filler flowers like baby's breath, the white one, or statice, the bluish one, can dry naturally in room temperature without losing much of its color. But since I'm drying out big flowers as well, I'm using flower drying crystals I bought from the US. I believe you can buy silica gel online if you want the same technique. Make sure to read and follow instructions carefully. So if you're using flower drying crystals or silica gel like me, you just need to fill up a microwave-safe container with the crystals and the flowers. You can just lay down the smaller flowers, but make sure the bigger flowers are placed right side up so the petals would look nice when they dry. You then cover them in silica, making sure the flowers won't get deformed. Once the flowers are completely covered in drying crystals, you just place them in a microwave with another container filled with water. Put them in there for a couple of minutes depending on instructions of the drying crystals you bought. So if you notice some of the crystals are colored blue, you can use them repeatedly, but when the blue crystals turn to pink, it's time to recharge them by microwaving them without water. Just repeat the process until you have enough flowers. Now you can also opt to do the longer process. Instead of putting the flowers and the drying crystals in the microwave, you can just leave them somewhere away from sunlight for a couple of days. There are online tips on how long you keep them depending on the type of the flower. But since I want to be quick, I'm using the microwave. Once done, just separate the flowers from the crystals. Dust off the ones still sticking to your flowers to prep them for resin. Just make sure there are no more crystals on the flowers. So when it comes to resin, there are different kinds that you can use. I learned that the easiest to use is UV resin because it's faster and it's relatively safer. It also doesn't have much of a chemical smell. So for this video, we're just using a small piece, which you can use as jewelry or a keychain. I'm using a mold I bought online. Just make sure it's clean and dry. Since I'm just making a clear resin piece, I just filled the mold with a UV resin for the bottom layer. I place the filler flowers and then cover it with more resin. Make sure you fill the mold until the top and that the surface is level. You then place a UV lamp over it. I bought mine for less than $10 on Amazon. It's also available in online shopping apps in the Philippines. UV lamps are usually used to dry gel nail polish, so it should be easy to find in online shops. Usually, the instructions that come with the UV resin have an estimate about how long the resin should be under the lamp, but I've learned that it varies on the size of the project. So you just need to keep checking the resin if it's hard enough to be removed from the mold. After several minutes, turn off the lamp and inspect your preserved flower. Once it's hard enough, just pop it off the mold. You can also put more resin to smooth out the surface. And then you're done. The mold I used is for pendant, so it already has a hole. And I simply used some string to tie it up and maybe use it as a keychain for my bag. And that's it!